Okay, welcome to another short video about heroes of London for our Happy History series. Right, I'm going to take a big deep breath. Now, I couldn't have done that in the mid-1850s, but thankfully, because of this man, Mr. Joseph Bazalgette, or Mr. Moustache as I call him, we are able to do it. But let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a gift to history students because he was born in 1819 and he died in 1891. Very easy dates to remember. And he was born here in in London, and he was privately educated. And he's kind of proof that immigration is a good thing because he comes of Huguenot descent, a little bit like our friend Nigel Farage. We're in disagreement about that, unfortunately. But anyway, when he reached adulthood, he actually moved to Ulster, and there he worked on the railways. He was a civil engineer working in the railways. And in the mid-1800s, they had railway mania, and he moved here to London to increase the amount of railways that were coming into the country. But the poor chap, he worked himself into hospital, and he had a nervous breakdown, and he had to go into hospital to recover. In 1858, we had in London, the population of London had doubled, and pollution was a huge problem, and it was made worse by the invention of a gentleman called Thomas Crapper. And he invented the flush toilet, and you know, all this poo was going into the River Thames. And also in 1858 there was a terrible heat wave, and we called it the year of the Great Stink. And Queen Victoria in Buckingham Palace couldn't escape it. The place was awful. And the Houses of Parliament just up there, which is of course adjacent to the River Thames, they would put lime and so forth to try anything to try and get rid of this smell. A couple of years before, they had established the Metropolitan Board of Works to increase the roads in London, bridges in London, and the sewers. But after that year, that same year, they brought out an act and they commissioned Joseph Bazalgette to work on these sewers, and there was no better man for the job. He built 80 miles of large, huge sewers and about 1,000 miles of street sewers, 4 pumping stations, and one of them is actually referred to as the Cathedral to Sewage. It's a beautiful building in Abbey Mills, I think it is. I'll double check that for you later. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a really beautiful building, and it's open, and you can actually see the place. And also we had 2 treatment plants. He was given a budget of £3 million, but typically, like everything, it doubled, and it was eventually completed for £6 million, which was a phenomenal amount of money at that time. And all of these sewers were built out of brick. So we had bricklayers from all over Ireland, Scotland and Wales came to work on these projects. Anyway, he completed the project, but the man never seemed to rest. Actually, one of the things, this road here we have here, this is the embankment. And he was so clever in his construction of the sewers that he actually reclaimed all of this land. If I was here in the 1840s, I would be swimming now because this would be underwater. But he reclaimed this land, and below us we have the sewer and the Metropolitan and the District Line tube stations. And in a moment, I will walk you across the road and I will show you exactly how much of the land he reclaimed. And it was a very good thing to do because of course he narrowed the Thames, the water went through quicker, and whereas it was really a dead river in those times, no fish, impossible to swim in, and actually earlier on that had been our source of drinking water. It was a scandalous state of affairs. But he did that, and also he built Charing Cross Road, Northumberland Road, and he worked on Putney Bridge, Hammersmith Bridge. The man never rested. He died at the age of 71, but only actually retired 2 years before. So we got our money worth out of him. He was a driven man, but you know, he made London what it is, and most of it's actually underground. And the other thing which was very clever, he calculated how much waste was being produced in London. And remember, we also had horse-drawn vehicles, and of course they were adding to the pollution as well. But he doubled the capacity, thinking ahead. Now those sewers, they are falling apart, unfortunately, but there are new sewers running. There's a new super sewer actually running under the Thames from Putney to Abbey Mill. And you know, 1 in 10, I think, of the workforce, they are apprentices. And actually, Bazalgette himself, he employed a lot of apprentices as well, because he realized he needed to pass his knowledge on. It gave people a livelihood, and his knowledge wasn't lost. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to walk over and I will show you how much of the Thames he reclaimed. So follow me, Christian. Okay, so here we are. This was the entrance to York House, a big magnificent palace on the side of the Thames, because, you know, in the Middle Ages the Thames was, you know, the main source of traffic up and down. You know, if you see a lot of the old films, The Man for All Seasons, of course Henry VIII travels up to Chelsea by boat, and the area up there is called the Strand, which meant it was next to the seashore. And people would alight here and they would go into the palace. But this is how much he actually reclaimed. The other thing about Bazalgette, he enjoyed his free time and he had a good family life. He had 11 children. 11 children. And, but his wife, she was an Irish woman. I'm an Irishman. My mother and father are from Ireland. So I can say it, you know, they had a good family life. And the thing is as well, his sons went on to be, you know, his children went on to be well known and successful in their chosen careers. There was one, during the Second World War, one of his descendants was a fighter ace and got all sorts of distinguished flying medals and things like that. And another one of both of his, two other of his great-great-great-grandchildren, I don't know how many greats you have there, but they're involved in the media. And one, Peter Bazalgette, he brought, he gave us Big Brother. He was instrumental in bringing Big Brother to our screens. So some people say that Bazalgette got all of the poo out of London and Peter Bazalgette brought it back into our sitting rooms. But there you go. Now, this is the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, but you must give yourself a treat. Go online and find the Song of Joseph Bazalgette, because some kids in London, they were studying Bazalgette. I don't know the ins and outs of the whole story, but they were studying Bazalgette and they put together a song, and it's blinding. It's really a happy, cheerful song, a kind of homage to Joseph Bazalgette. Okay, thank you for watching. Look out for some more of our videos.